Hey guys, Eric here. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Before we tune in to the details today, I have one little favor I'd like to ask you. Are you listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify? If you are, and if you haven't done it already, it would be so helpful to Anita and I if you could leave a 5-star review. It could just be putting 5 stars or even writing down something that you really enjoyed and learned from the episodes that you've heard so far. This kind of help would really improve our ability to give you better content and also to help other people find out about Taiwanica. So if you wouldn't mind taking just a few moments to do that if you haven't already, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we really hope you enjoyed today's episode. What's in that water? Is that really water?
No, just don't tell me.
Okay.
Don't tell me.
I won't tell you. Okay. Because apparently I poured it, and you have vodka in there. Okay. Surprise. That's what my teacher would always say. When I lived in Tainan, they said when they have water, I was like, oh yeah. How's that water? It's like, oh, it's good vodka. I'm just like, you come to class prepared. I would too. This is episode 52, talking about life in Tainan with Eric and Anita. Ooh, what's going to happen here? What's going on, everybody? My name is Eric, one of your hosts here on Taiwanica Podcast, and glad to be back for another excellent episode. Today, we're going to be getting a little bit personal. You're going to hear all of the truth and nothing but the truth, so hope you Tainan. So, hope you're excited about knowing a little bit more, maybe too much, about Eric and Anita today. So, speaking of that, there's actually someone with me. On the other side of the table, we have Anita.
Surprise!
Hi, how's it going, Anita?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah?
Today's our son's first birthday.
That's right.
Very excited.
Kaya is 1.
Oh my goodness.
1 time around the sun.
Do you know that son came out of my belly 1 year ago?
Let's not get too graphic.
I said
We are
belly.
literally 1 minute into this episode, Anita. Try to keep it contained.
You told the audience already like a little bit too much about us.
Well, thanks for taking it up to a high level already.
You're welcome. And we will be talking about more about the parenting style, differences between Taiwan and the US in next episode.
Yeah, okay. Spoiler alert. Wow, this episode is all full of excitement already.
And a lot of information to take in.
What's in that water? Is that really water?
No, just don't tell me.
Okay.
Don't tell me.
I won't tell you. Okay. Because apparently I poured it, and you have vodka in there. Okay. Surprise. That's what my teacher would always say. When I lived in Tainan, they said when they have water, I was like, oh yeah. How's that water? It's like, oh, it's good vodka. I'm just like, you come to class prepared. I would too if there was a bunch of Americans trying to learn Chinese. Oh my God.
American, you people, bunch of American in one class.
We get loud
That's true.
really quick.
I know.
A lot of us says,
A lot of USAs.
USA, get out of the class. Okay.
It's pretty much your life in Tainan, isn't it?
Well, we're about to find out.
I don't know.
All right, so let's give everyone a quick idea of how our life in Tainan began, because I think a lot of people are curious. Last episode, when we were talking about how we first met,
Yeah.
they found out that we did long distance for a while, and then we kind of stopped the story from that spot. So let's pick up from there.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll go a little bit first. So after I lived in Japan, what happened is Anita and I decided that we would move in together immediately during our relationship in person.
Like you made the decision to move to Taiwan first.
That's right.
Then we say, yeah,
Let's live together.
let's do it.
Yeah, and we were just
Yeah.
like super like whatever about it, just like how Anita just talked. And but when we first happened to live there, I was in Taichung with Anita because she was living in a flat with a bunch of other Taiwanese people. I think you call it like a yafang or something like that.
It's not. It's like the full house, so you just rent and you have roommates basically.
Yeah, and you all share the same bathroom. Gross.
Not all of us.
Okay.
3 of us.
Too many. So I moved from Japan, my own house, of course, in the middle of nowhere, but I had my own shower, and I went into this very small room with like how many boxes? Like way too many.
Yeah.
And in Anita's really small room.
Yeah.
And we were basically, we had the bed and that was it. We had we watched TV on the bed. We would like eat on the bed and our phone. Everything was on the bed, right?
Really bad.
Yeah, it was an intense time. But right after that, I think it was like a month of that.
Not even that. Probably just
2 or 3 weeks.
1 week.
It felt like a long time. I was like, all right, it's time for me to move to Tainan. And so Anita and her brother helped me out by moving all my stuff to Tainan before I started school, which I was going to school at Chengda for learning Chinese. Just because I got a scholarship. If you know what the Huayu scholarship is, that's the scholarship I got. It's a Taiwanese-sponsored scholarship. Thank you, Taiwanese government.
For foreigners to learn Mandarin in Taiwan.
That's right. It was a good time.
Yeah.
And so at the beginning, Anita helped me move all my stuff, but she didn't live with me yet.
Not quite yet.
Yeah, so what were you doing?
I was still in Taichung in my small room in this house with a bunch of other roommates, which if you had an experience with renting a house with roommates, it usually doesn't end well because, you know, a lot of different habits, different lifestyle. There's a lot of awkward situation. And for my story is because I wanted to move out from my parents' house. So I was desperate. So I found that apartment. They're looking for a roommate. So I was just, I'm going to take it, you know. At the moment, I thought every situation will be better than living with my parents. So after Eric moved to Tainan, and I was so jealous of him having this giant apartment, like all space all for himself, and I will go there because I also got the job in Taichung at that time. So I went to Tainan every weekend. I would spend a weekend there and then took bus back to Taichung. So I kind of just, you know, because it costs a lot of money, like the bus ticket, and it's really tiring, and you know, why don't we just move in together and I can share with your rent, you know, and I don't have to spend much extra money to find the bus ticket, and you save a lot of time. So I had a negotiation with my boss at that time, and he agreed to let me work from home, which is just using computer, and he will have meetings with me once a week.
Way before COVID and Zoom were a thing,
like
and Google Meets and all that stuff. It was really hard to achieve this.
That's
like her boss was like totally not on board with the idea for the initial initiation, but which is surprising because nowadays if you ask that, they'd be like, yeah, sure, go.
Yeah, because it's like everybody's doing that, right?
It's a thing now.
Yeah. But my boss was a really nice person, so he agreed to let me do that. So we moved in our very first apartment in Tainan.
Yep.
So, just like I mentioned, every time when you have a roommate, it doesn't end up well each time. So, another example, me and Eric, we almost killed each other, I think.
Multiple times. In many different ways.
Oh my God.
Yes. We lived in, I don't know if a lot of people who are listening will be familiar with the street name, but it's called Wufeijie, and it's a wonderful part of Tainan because it has a lot of areas where you can eat delicious food, and there's a lot of traditional stores there. I guess it's like in the center of Tainan City.
It's in Dongxi district.
So kind of in the middle.
Kind of.
Yeah. That's right. So where is it exactly?
It's near city center, I would say. So probably like 10 minutes away from train station.
Okay. Right.
It is famous for its breakfast place.
Yeah.
If you Google some places, you can go for a really, really, really good breakfast. That's the place you need to go.
Like toast.
Oh, yes.
Yes, monkey.
Yeah, toast. It's like next to 7-Eleven around the corner.
You got it.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful danbing place.
Ooh,
and they
so
have
good.
like coffee milk, 咖啡牛奶. Wow.
Oh, that was. I think it's still your favorite, right?
Drink.
Like your favorite drink from a breakfast place.
You got it.
Oh yeah, 咖啡牛奶.
Yes, treat me to 咖啡牛奶. I be your best friend. So let's get into the details of us. Now we're in Tainan.
Yeah.
You're still working, but you're working from home.
Yeah.
But what am I doing? I'm going to Chenggong.
You're a full-time student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And learning Chinese from the ground up.
That's very intense. Like he is the one who has high, very, very high expectation for himself when he talks about languages, you know. He's like this person, I think you never had this much frustration in the beginning of learning any other languages, right?
No, I have.
Oh, you have?
I'm always like that.
Oh, okay. So you're always like that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What is it like, Anita? Tell everybody.
You will get so frustrated and you will be so sad. And he keep on asking me the questions like, is my Chinese bad? I was like, you just start learning Chinese, you know. How do I tell you that? You're a beginner level, yes. So he will be super frustrated. He wanted to become master in like very short period of time. So it was causing a lot of stress for himself and for me.
And our relationship.
Of course, not a relationship, because if a relationship's always asking for confirmation from other people, from the other person, sorry about that, like if I always feel frustrated about myself and ask the other person to, you know, comfort me, this relationship is not gonna work because you're causing too much stress to the relationship.
Sorry.
So it's okay. I forgive.
We'll be right back.
I really like journaling, but I always end up with no time or cannot find a journal that I really like. So I was like, hey, let me create one. So here it is, a self-help journal created and designed by Anita. Inside the book, I provide very simple and easy to follow template. For example, in the morning, to-do list. In the evening, gratitude practice. So you can use a very little time to start this healthy habit. Go ahead and check it out in our description down below or go to our buymeacoffee.com.
We went through a lot during this time, and you're going to find out all about it. This is going to be more of a therapy session than a podcast episode, just so you know.
Because this is my niche now. I help people with healthy relationships. So right now, I look back, I can totally see that there are a lot of signs for us to stop doing certain things. But when we are in that relationship, we don't know what to do. So we kind of like putting each other down. Like
all the time.
You stop talking about your problems.
We were in victim stages, you know.
Yes. Like, stop talking about your problems, go to school and fix your mistakes. That's Chinese. What do you want? You came here for learning.
Honey, you don't need to get too intense.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm such a nice person. So I was just like, you know, we had a lot of fights. And so we broke up for the very first time.
Oh, wow. Let's just throw that right on out.
What else do you want me to say?
Yeah.
We're just basically fighting all the time.
Yeah, we were going up and down. You know, I was learning Chinese for most of the time. And then, like Anita said, she was basically my source to relieve my Chinese stress. And she was very patient and calm for most of it. But sometimes it was really hard on a relationship because her English was just so good that I was just always trying to throw in a little Chinese to twist it up, give it a little spice. But every time she's just like, why are you doing this? And I was like, I gotta do it. And I'm glad I did, because now we speak, you know, half Chinese, half English in our home for our son. And it's always a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. But no, during that time, we broke up because it just got too stressful. So I did a horrible thing, which I'm sorry again. I kicked Anita out of the apartment.
For the very first time.
For the very first time. And
there are more to come. Maybe.
Stay tuned for other episodes. But this one specifically was when we had a really intense fight about just really dumb things. Like
I don't even remember.
I don't even remember, because we were just so unhappy about a lot of things, like with work, with money, with our relationships with others, like friends, parents. Oh gosh, and we were just basically
a lot of things.
We would just zone out after work and like eat McDonald's and watch TV, like you know, binging Friends.
Friends and How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, 4 or 5 episodes a day.
Yeah.
It was a lot. And so, it was just a really hard time for us. But on the bright side, we got back together. And
You're going to jump that fast?
Yes.
Okay.
And she forgave me for acting so harshly, and she came back after a little bit of time, like 2 or 3 weeks. And then...
Actually, that time I got kicked out by you, and I couldn't go home because at that time I still didn't have a good relationship with my parents. So actually I was crashed in my friend's couch, which is Lawrence. If you guys know, listen to the interview before. That's the guy.
From England.
From England, yeah. He's the one saved me. He said that I can stay with my girlfriend. You can, stay in my apartment as long as you need. And I was crashing his house for like 3 days. Yeah, he was super nice to me, and he fed me breakfast because I got kicked out, and the relationship didn't work out. I don't want to eat anything. I'm gonna die. And he's the one who fed me. You take me to a breakfast place, or like try to make me laugh. He's like such a good guy. So thank you, Lawrence. You again.
Yes, what a wonderful man. Yeah. And so after that, we got back together and we fixed a few things and we repaired a few parts of our broken hearts, and we moved forward, but not everything got fixed. So because of that, our relationship still had its ups and downs, but definitely more ups for a little while after we got back together. We started to explore more places, started to go around southern part of Taiwan. I think we went to Kending one time. And we also explored Kaohsiung a few times. We got passionate about just going to different places and seeing more things and eating more food.
That's true.
We actually needed to move away from our original place on Wufeijie, and we moved to Kaiyuanlu, to this giant apartment complex that maybe some of you who are listening are living in right now. It's called Chengdacheng.
You still remember?
Of course.
The other day I was trying to mention this to my students. It took me a while to recall the name, but yeah, it is Chengdacheng.
Easy. It's just like Chengda Castle. That's how I think about it, because it looks like a castle. It's just huge place, and it's got so much convenience around it. I was really surprised. Now that we live in USA, I was thinking about that place. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
We had like, what was that famous supermarket? Yeah.
Like PX Mart.
Yeah, PX Mart is there, and also there's another
bunch of clinics.
Yeah, clinics literally all around. A gym literally a block away.
Yeah, coffee shop.
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
It was just so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever are looking for a place to live in Tainan as a foreigner, it's totally worth it. Or even a Taiwanese, if you can spend the rent, it's a really nice spot.
It is.
And they have lots of facilities there too. The staff there was the only thing that was kind of up and down, but
they're changing all the time.
All the time. But it's a great place. So we moved in there. Our landlords were the sweetest people ever, and they took really good care of us while we were staying there. But it wasn't long of us living in this new place that we started to have fights again. And
so
before we dive too deep, and I know you want to say something, I just want to add another little thing in the mix, is that before we left and moved into Kaiyuanlu, we actually adopted a cat. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And his little name was Yoda. He was a very old cat that we just found at one of those adoption centers that is very full of unwanted animals, like beat up dogs or cats that, like our Yoda, he was kind of like no teeth and broken legs and had totally lots of problems. But we thought, it would be nice to give an old cat a home before it passed. So we picked up Yoda and then brought him to Kaiyuanlu. And then what happened?
Yes. Like we mentioned, the first time we broke up, we just kind of like, sometimes I'm pretty sure some people have the experience, like you've been spending time with this person, or you feel like, oh, this is the person, you already devoted so much, you don't want to give up, but none of us have been facing the problem yet. You just kind of feel like you fix a little bit. It's, okay, so what do you want me to change? And the other person tells you the things that they want you to change, and you say, okay, I can do that. And we're kind of in that stage. So we're kind of like that, and then we didn't really fix our own problem. I think that's the issue. So we didn't really face what the real problem is. Like, we have our own personal problems, and we brought the problem to the relationship and caused a new problem to the relationship. So it doesn't last long. After our first breakup, and
we didn't know how to forgive and let go back then, so we had a lot of like emotions and mental resentment and mental traumas and grudges that we didn't know how to let go of. I mean, we weren't mature enough to understand how to release those kind of things and completely be honest with each other without hurting each other's feelings, because it was just really hard to be our true selves with one another because we actually didn't know who our true selves were.
Yeah, it's true.
So we just constantly fought over really tiny things. I felt hurt because I didn't get enough hugs, and Anita felt hurt because I said maybe too many strong words.
Yeah.
And so the bitterness just got more and more bitter, and the fights got worse and worse, and then sooner or later it just snapped again. So if you think about it I like to think about it like a house. You know, it's like when you're building a house, it's like building a loving relationship. You have to first build a foundation, and that's trust and honesty and all the truth and nothing but the truth. So help you, not Tainan, but help you in your relationship. And then afterwards, you can add the little details like likes, interests, and similarities and differences and all that stuff. But if you're not completely honest with each other at the very beginning and you keep building on other things, the relationship will easily crumble. So that was definitely what we learned after breaking up the second time, is that we just had to be completely honest.
I think for me is like after our first breakup, I didn't give myself time to know what I really want for a relationship. I just want someone to take me away from my original family. That's the only thing. But if you think about a relationship like that, you want the other person to do the job for you. Instead of fixing your relationship with your original family, it's gonna cause a lot of, doesn't matter what this person do, you're not gonna be happy because you didn't fix the problem, which my case is the love, the true connection. I never had that. I thought if I found my future partner, the future partner will automatically give me this kind of sense of the feeling, you know, safety, connection, love,
freedom,
whatever. Yes. So that's kind of like my expectation to Eric. So the first time we broke up, I just feel like he's not doing the thing. And but I was just too scared because I didn't have a good relationship with my parents, my original family. And now I'm losing another one. Where am I going next?
Right.
So I was kind of like holding on to him, Eric. So I didn't give myself time to realize who I really was and what do I really want, what kind of relationship I want to build. I think that's a very important lesson for me to learn after taking breakup. So this guy kicked me out again. This time the situation is a bit complicated because I literally have no place to go. I couldn't go back to Lawrence, you know, because it's too much.
Far. Yeah, too much.
And I choose to come home.
Yep, she went back to home in Taichung.
Yes, and I was so grateful that I had a chance because I had to move back home. It gave me the chance to fix my relationship with my parents. So that's when everything started to bloom. Myself, like my self-identity, my relationship with my original family, to forgive what they have done to me, which doesn't, you know, suits me or doesn't serve me well, and I forgive and I tell my parents how I truly feel, and I give myself time to learn who I am and how to love myself. And at that moment I just realized I never loved myself because, you know, I never accept who I was. I've always tried to run away from my original family, and that's when I got the time to see what I really want. And during our second breakup, I was just kind of like, I love myself, like just being myself, you know. In the beginning, of course, I'm trying to, you know, get back with Eric because it's the only I don't feel safe. But I feel like I don't want to go back to the previous relationship if it's going to repeat the same mistakes. So I took the action of building what I really want. So that's when I started to run, like running. It's like simplest thing, but I've never thought running can bring me so much joy. And then that's when I realized I really love running. I finally find one thing that can give me the sense of love, just simple as doing an exercise. And I learned how to, you know, think about my future when I was running and meeting new people. I was just this happy person, and I started learning pole dancing, which is the dream I've always wanted to do ever since I was like 20. And I was like, why did I wait so long to really do the things that can give me joy? And that's when I started to meet my best friend, Xavier, and we still have the really strong relationship. So that's when I started to realize, oh my God, before this moment, I didn't take the responsibility to build the relationships that I want. I've been looking for someone to fix my mistake and build the relationship for me. So that's the lesson I learned. And what about you? Because we're separate for like 3-4 months.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting though that like a lot of people, when they don't want to take action in their own life, they take on one of three roles, like either being a victim or wanting to be saved by somebody or be the hero to save others. On all three of these are, dangerous roles to be in, because basically you're avoiding improving yourself and improving the life that you want to have. You're constantly focusing on the outside rather than on the inside. And, I think that Anita had a great quest that she went on afterwards, with just a soul search, find out who she wanted to be, what are the things that she liked, who are the people that she wanted to be with, and what are the relationships that she wanted to build with them. I think that was a wonderful realization and revelation that you had from our breakup.
Well, thanks to you.
Well,
Kick me out twice.
That was not my goal. I love you, and it wasn't my goal to cause so much pain, but we were just constantly stabbing each other emotionally, not physically. But during that time, during the breakup for me, it was more of a different soul search, which was, do I really want to be in a serious relationship? Because I went through, before Anita, 2 other very serious relationships that both broke my heart, and I think that was one of the things I was carrying with me when I was with Anita during that time, was that, she's just going to be another one of those, basically a heartbreaker. And so I always assumed this to be the truth and never came to the honest truth of, just giving her a chance. I guess compared and wanted to sooner or later break it off because I thought I wasn't worthy of true love. And that was the big thing I needed to find during this breakup was, am I worthy of love? And so I went on a search. I went on a couple of dates with other people and realized that all of them kind of felt the same way. They all felt unworthy of love. And I slowly came to the realization that Anita only wants to give me love. She wants to be there for me and support me while I try to also be there for her. And that's when, the realization that I had came abruptly from, remember we brought up our cat Yoda. He, unfortunately, about 2 or 3 months after we broke up, just one morning I woke up and he was pretty much gone. He was just like barely breathing in my arms. And so I gave Anita a call to tell her the news. And we both on speakerphone said our wishes goodbye to poor little Yoda as he was going on to the next life. And because of that moment, I came to the realization that, we both loved something else besides us. And that was our little baby cat who, completely objectively loved us back, even though he was a really old cat and had no reason to. But he loved us for who we were. And that came to the realization that, love really doesn't have conditions attached to it unless you make those conditions. And Anita helped me realize that when, Yoda was passing away and we started talking again little by little about what does love mean, about building healthy relationships with the people in our lives. Like she told me about her parents and I told her about my father, and she gave me realizations about, how to trust and love, which, like I mentioned at the very beginning of the story, that was the reason why I needed to have that break. And so we started to understand each other's dark sides more. We were okay with opening up those areas with each other. And because we did that for a little while, we said, why not give it one last go? And so after another month after talking with each other, we decided to say yes again. And Anita's like, okay, that's great, I'll see you later. I was like, what? What does that mean? And then all of a sudden, like maybe 20 minutes after our phone call or something like that.
No. That time I was sorry if I take over, because that we have our thing when we're doing long distance and we will watch movie together, like from 2 different places. We will find the movie that we wanted to watch, and then like Eric will be in Japan using his computer, and then I'll be using my computer in Taiwan in my room, and we will find a romantic movie to watch, and then we'll say 3, 2, 1, hit, and the whole time we will be having a video call.
Yeah.
So there was our kind of little things that for us to do. So when we decided to get back together, and then I say, how about we watch a movie tonight? And then he was like, yeah, what do you want to watch? I was like, I'll tell you later. And then when the time we were about to watch the movie, I think it was 7 p.m. at bed that night. So I was like, hey, can you go get the popcorn? Don't you think the popcorn will be, really good with the movie? And he was like, do I really need to get the popcorn right now? I was like, yeah, just go get it. So the surprise was I was waiting downstairs of his apartment.
What?
Yes, I was seeing.
What are you doing here?
Yes, I was
She
surprised
had
him.
the popcorn in her hands, like she had it ready to go, and she's
yeah.
like, surprise! It was
Yeah.
a real big surprise. A little bit like stalker surprise, but
a little bit creepy.
a little bit creepy. But hey, leave it to Anita to be like that. So yeah, and then after that, not too long after, we rebuilt things, and then we decided to move to Taichung.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was basically the whole story of us in Tainan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So dramatic.
Lots of drama in this episode. We hope you enjoyed it and not got too emotional or bored of our story.
No, I think it's very educational. Hopefully, for lots of people.
It's a love language story for sure, talking about emotions and how to communicate. They're very crucial parts of life. So.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully that was enjoyable for you.
Yeah, and final things, like that's kind of how me personally started the business as life coach for helping you building healthy relationships. So if you need any help, feel free to reach out to me. You know where to find me, which is Instagram at Taiwanica Podcast.
Yep. Or you can directly purchase it at buymeacoffee.com.
Buymeacoffee.com. Come.
All right. And then with that, we'll leave you here and we'll see you in the next episode.
Next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Taiwanica. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.